The truth is gold and silver will maintain their value like they have for thousands and thousands of years. But first, let's talk about what's going on out there in the economy. Jerome Powell at the United States Federal Reserve, you know what he's telling me and he's telling the bear? He's saying we're going to have a soft landing. Everything's going to be okay. Everything is rainbows and lollipops and unicorns. Well, maybe it's more like unicorn fart dust, right? All this make-believe paper and digital money, all these distortions that have been created in the economy. And when all that comes home to roost, right, the Fed will have to react, mayhem will ensue, and you know what? Gold and silver, they'll do what they've always done for thousands of years. Do I need to repeat that again for you? Thousands of years. They've seen this monkey show many, many times. Gold and silver will maintain their value. But why? Why? Why do people put faith in the Federal Reserve's ability to even predict what will happen 90 days from now? I mean, come on, man. Isn't that kind of like asking your local weatherman, hey, give me an exact forecast for what the weather will be 90 days from now? Hey, we live in a time of extreme weather, right? Even under the best of circumstances, they can't tell you what the weather's going to be 90 days from now. They can look at models and forecasts and blah, 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 just like Jerome Powell's doing at the Federal Reserve, because we're living through a time of extreme monetary policy, bubblegum and duct tape holding the economy together, not to mention we're navigating through a period of extreme geopolitical change that we haven't seen in this country since World War II. So let's talk about Jerome Powell's ability, or maybe, just maybe, lack thereof, to predict where the economy is going to be, to predict whether or not we can have a soft landing, because that's going to have a big impact on the price of precious metals. And just so you know, I have invited Jerome Powell here to the basement on multiple occasions, even offered that he could hug the teddy bear as I grilled him with questions. I'm going to stop asking Jerome soon because he's not replied to any of my requests. Now, let's take a look at what Jerome's up against as he's trying to predict and manage this economy and why he has no chance. Look, guys, over the last several decades, we have had monetary and fiscal extreme measures applied to the U.S. economy, to the U.S. monetary policy, money printing, debts run up, you name it. It is in bad, bad shape. The U.S. economy is like a patient in a hospital who's got like 4 issues and is receiving like 6 different treatments at once, and things are interacting, and it's just a big, big mess. At minimum, we can say that the U.S. economy has been highly medicated. Sure, it has defied the laws of mathematics so far, but Jerome is facing a difficult challenge as he tries to navigate this thing with so many coinciding issues going on. Look at the national debt alone, $32 trillion. Look at the debt to GDP ratio. It's like 125% to 1. This is not an easy environment for anyone to navigate an economy, or for that matter, predict where it's going to be 90 days from now. I don't sit down here in the basement and make these videos for kicks and giggles. I do it because I like to connect with you. So thank you for joining me here in the basement. Right now, you're somewhere in the world and we are together. I hope you enjoy your time here, get some value, some entertainment, most importantly, some camaraderie. Leave a comment in the comment section below. You can subscribe if you want to come back. You're welcome anytime. And don't you forget, gold and silver are at the base of all this crazy paper, electronic, cryptocurrency, all this crazy monkey business that's been going on for the last number of years at the base of everything. The original money, gold and silver, sit there securely and patiently waiting. Hey, they're not losing their value, but they will become much more valuable when things start to unravel. And we haven't even touched on the geopolitical environment in which Jerome is trying to navigate this economy. I mean, we've not seen this level of strife and disagreement amongst nations since World War II. The world is splitting, guys. Okay? And the world is moving away from the US dollar. You want a fancy word? Get out your pen and paper. I'm going to teach you a fancy word. Hegemony. The world is moving away from the U.S. and, in more specifics, U.S. dollar hegemony. That means the dominant force, right? It was a unipolar world for the last several decades. The U.S. dollar ruled the roost, right? We got a big benefit from that because dollars were always flowing back to the United States from trade deals, from oil purchases. All those dollars came back to the United States and allowed the U.S. government to rack up huge debts because the U.S. government would sell treasuries, right, to finance the big deficits. And who was buying the treasuries? All those foreign countries that were forced to use U.S. dollars to sell oil to conduct trade. That's all coming to an end, and that creates another very difficult set of circumstances for Jerome and the U.S. economy to be navigated through. And don't you worry, I understand. Sometimes it can be a little difficult to hold gold and silver. Maybe you question yourself. I do from time to time. Everybody does. People would be lying if they say that at some point they don't question their decision. But trust me, like Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, right? He says we'll be seeing who's wearing swimming suits. I say when the tide rolls out, we're going to be seeing who's holding some of this stuff. Huh? Gold or this, my favorite, physical silver. And the final thing we'll talk about regarding Jerome Powell's ability to predict a soft landing for the economy is his track record. Let's just look back to 2021 and 2022. Remember in late 2021, inflation was only temporary. Well, I guess it was at that point, right? But then they told us inflation is transitory. That lasted for a few months as well. And as we got into 2022, inflation became a big problem. You and I know that, right? Have you been to the grocery store lately? I digress. At that point, the Fed raised rates at the fastest rate in history in 2022. Starting in March, I believe it was. That was the fastest rate hike increase in history. And on top of that, we need to remember that Jerome said he wouldn't be raising rates until 2023. And look what he did. A year early, he raised rates at the fastest rate in history. But we're going to believe him now, right? When he says we're going to have a soft landing and we have disinflation. Wrong. Could we have a soft landing? What do you think? Sure, it could happen, but aren't we wise to realize that the other range of options are actually more likely to happen, and that when things do start to unravel, right, the Fed's going to have to react with more extreme measures because the debt and everything else has gotten so much bigger and out of control? In gold and silver, they'll do what they always do very well. They will maintain their value. They've been doing it for thousands of years, and they'll continue to do it right now. Jerome Powell finds himself navigating through quite a storm, and heck, he's taking us with him. I want you to know if you need refuge, please always feel free. Come back, click on the link, join me in Ron's Basement. If you like right now, you can watch another video. Go check out the merch shop, but most important, until next time, please be well.